Happy Monday evening. Ready to Love Season 4 reunion. A lot of y'all are really upset with Joel and me. And you feel like I'm being too hard on VERNEISHA. Okay? So, let's agree on something. Okay? A lot of y'all, Janice, Joel is an F-boy. He's a trash. He knew she was vulnerable. He took advantage of her. Okay? Let's agree Joel is trash. He's an F-boy. I don't know if I want to call him a Dusty. Okay, though I am wearing my Dusty shirt. Allergic to Dusty shirt. But I don't know if I want to call Joel a Dusty. I don't think he's for Janice, I don't think he's an F-boy, and I don't think he's trash. However, for the purpose of this discussion, we'll agree he's an F-boy, he's trash. He took advantage of her. He knew she was vulnerable. He took advantage of her. He shouldn't have gotten involved with her. He shouldn't have taken the cookie. Okay? Let's agree. My question to you is, if Joel is an F-boy and trash, what is VERNEISHA? I'm just going to ask y'all some questions today. Okay? Let's agree he's an F-boy, he's trash, he knew she was vulnerable, he just wanted the cookie. Whose responsibility was it to figure out that Joel was an F-boy, he's trash, he just wanted the cookie, he knew she was vulnerable, he shouldn't have gotten involved. Whose responsibility was it to figure that out? I'ma wait. I'm going to give y'all 20 seconds to type it in there. Whose responsibility was it? We're going to do fill in the blanks today. We're going back to school. Whose responsibility was it? Whose responsibility was it? I just want to know. I want y'all to answer me. The problem with us ladies is we want to not do the work and then put the responsibility for our actions on somebody else. So let's look at 23 types of guys you might meet, okay? Be sure to subscribe, thumbs this up for me. In 23 types of guys, I have 23 different main characteristics of guys, and then I had other little baby characteristics on it. So let's read these. Mr. Sex. What my daddy said, all men want to have sex. The deacon, the bishop, the pastor, the apostle, every man wants to have sex. Mr. Take what you can get. Whose responsibility is it to figure out he just wants sex? He just want to give you, take what you can get. Whose responsibility is it? Mr. Sex and Mr. Eye Candy and Mr. Physical. Mr. Bates, B-A-I-T-S. This one get a lot of women in trouble because you don't realize he's baiting you. And then after you realize, you say, oh, it's his fault. No, it's your fault. Oh, I'm sorry. I said I was just going to ask questions today. Mr. Character, aka Mr. Personnel. Somebody said Joel has no character. Whose responsibility was it to figure out his character? Mr. Representative. We all have representatives. Whose responsibility was it to figure out if what you see is his representative or it's the real him? Mr. Fakes. A whole lot of y'all Christian girls get in trouble because as long as he say he's saved, then you throw him your heart. Mr. Builder Males. A lot of y'all walk in with your eyes wide open. You're just delusional, think you can change it. But anyways, whose responsibility is it to figure out he is a Mr. Builder Male? Hobosexual, H-O-B-O. Whose responsibility is it to figure out that this man only wants somewhere to live? You know how many ladies post in Facebook and say, oh, we met. He wanted to come over and cook for me. I allowed him to come over and he hasn't left. Mr. Situationship. How many of y'all have fallen in situationship? Again, this is all from my book, 23 Tasks of Guys You Might Meet. If you don't have it, it's on Amazon. Pick it up. I'm telling you, this book will save you from a whole lot of mess. I talk about everything in this book. A lot of this stuff in here is stuff my father taught me. Mr. Professional. How many of y'all meet these men and you just take what they say because they're professional men and you believe them? When my husband told me he loved me in April, I said, thank you. You know why? I didn't have all the documents. I didn't have all the information. I need the tax, the credit, and I need the W-2. I want to make sure you made what you said you made, and I want to make sure you didn't have on your credit anything I can't live with. Granted, most people have a little bit of credit. I'm okay with a little bit of credit, but okay. Again, this is from my book, 23 Tasks of Guys You Might Meet. Okay. Mr. Sexuality. How many women, married men on the DL? I don't think it's as prevalent as it was back then, okay? Mr. Crown Myself. How many of y'all married men date men that's full of themselves, and instead of you walking away, what do? You stay with him. Mr. Toxic. That's the Chris's of the world. The narcissist, the abusive guys. Mr. Purpose. This is the one. I'm going to come back to Mr. Purpose. I'm going to read the names of the one. Mr. Gift of Gab. For women like myself who, I love intellectual guys, right? I love smart men. These Gift of Gab, I figure them out really quick. But for some of you who you don't read, you don't know he's trying to play you. You don't know he's trying to rope you in with his word. You get caught up with Mr. Gift of Gab. Mr. Sensitivity, real sensitive man. Mr. Nurse or Purse. They marry you because they want somebody to take care of them, a nurse, or they want married because they want a purse. Oh, it's okay. I make enough money for me and you. Okay. Mr. Kryptonite. Now, Mr. Kryptonite was my guy. Okay. I had to figure that out, that Mr. Kryptonite is going to get me in trouble real quick. Okay. Mr. Devil, Demons, and Distractions. For those of you church girls. This is from my book, 23 Tasks of Guys You Might Meet. If you don't have it, pick it up on Amazon. Okay. Mr. Psalm 23 husband, aka Mr. Shepherd. That's my husband. That's the Psalm 23 husband. Read Psalm 23 if you don't know it. That's the type of husband you want. Mr. Husband, my husband. And some of y'all, a lot of you ladies, you don't need no man. You need Jesus. You need to realize that, you know what, I need to take a step back from dating and from men, and I just need to spend some time with Jesus. Now, Mr. Purpose, right? You said Joel is trash, 287. He's no character. He knew she was vulnerable. I don't know why, because did something happen to her recently? She was vulnerable. Mr. Purpose. Okay, let me read the different ones of Mr. Purpose. Mr. Master Manipulator. Mr. Deception. Mr. Trap or Treat. Mr. Seed Dropper. Mr. Good Time. Mr. String Along. Mr. Bozo, B-O-Z-O. Mr. Get the Dog Out. Mr. Hunter. Mr. I Want to Be Your Best Friend. Mr. Pressure Points. Mr. Full Package Pretender. Mr. Marriage is a Piece of Paper. Mr. Scratch Your Itch. Mr. Celibacy Breaker. Mr. Cobweb Cleaner. Mr. Woman of Childbearing Years. Mr. Buttercup. Mr. Target. Mr. Rebound. Mr. Cookie Scammer. Mr. Control. Let's read Mr. Hunter. This is on page 295 of my book, 23 Types of Guys You Might Meet. Run over to Amazon and pick it up. I think it's still on sale. Mr. Hunter, $2.95. I know a few Mr. Hunters and names, so let me be clear. I am not talking about any man whose name is Mr. Hunter. LOL. My father often spoke about the hunt in a man. Men are born hunters. I do not believe that men are dogs. God did not create men to be dogs. God created men to hunt. It is something that God has put into men to hunt, pursue, conquer, and subdue. Now, while I don't believe men are dogs, I do believe they have doggish tendencies. Listen to this. God did not create men to be dogs. God created men to hunt. It is something that God has put into men to hunt, pursue, run down, conquer, and subdue. Go back and read Genesis. What did God tell Adam? Men hunt, men conquer, and they subdue. This is why, ladies, you take the cookie off the table. You could tell I'm tired, right? What they're hunting for? The cookie, or to be taken care of. But if you decide that you're taking the cookie off the table, no matter how much they hunt and be nice and treat you well and take you out, nobody's getting it. Because it's off the table. Okay? If you have little boys, pay close attention to them, and you will see that they want to conquer everything. The living room couch, the steps, the toys, jumping off the bed. Recently, I had to rush my toddler to the hospital because he felt like conquering the couch when he tried to jump from one to the other. Our living room is 18 by 30. Can you imagine as an adult trying to jump 18 feet from one couch to the other? I can't, and I used to run track when I was younger. Additionally, the couches weren't even in front of the other, so his jumping wasn't directly across, LOL, but that is something that God has placed in the male DNA, where they want to conquer everything they encounter. So princesses, it is in men to conquer, overcome, subdue, and take control. And yes, that includes women they meet. Getting your cookie is a badge of honor and proof that they have conquered you. Think about when they go to hunt, right? Don't they put the head of the whatever on the wall? That's their trophy. I did that. I conquered it. So your cookie, or my dad would say, a notch on another man's belt. He would tell me, don't be another notch on a man's belt, okay? So your cookie is the badge of honor. This is why you take the cookie off the table. Because once you give them the cookie, child, you can't say nothing to them. Okay? And have conquered you. Therefore, I wrote in The Naked Wife to take the cookie off the table. So in this book, The Naked Wife, I wrote, take the cookie off the table. In other words, it's not for, nobody gets it. You're not having sex with none of them. Therefore, the question becomes, if men are hunters, what are they hunting? Not every, listen to this, y'all. Not every male you meet is looking for a wife. As women, because it is in us to desire marriage and babies, we think every man we meet wants to marry us, protect us, and provide for us. This has gotten us in trouble, used, abused, and left. Some men are looking for women to take care of them. I know guys who only date women who can take care of them. Sisters, it is imperative for us to understand and remember that men are born hunters, and they are always hunting for something. They desire to conquer and subdue. On the other hand, it will take a disciplined man to hunt protectively, find a wife, marry her because he has conquered her into his love, his ability to provide for her and to protect her. That's a very, very small percentage of men. Okay, a lot of y'all ladies, y'all just be dishing it out. Y'all putting it in his face. You take it out, put it on a silver platter, say, here you go, Pookie. Okay. Now, wait for a second, Janice. Does a man need to conquer his wife? Yes, a husband is to conquer or overcome his wife with his declaration of love, protection, provision, adoration, and leadership. See, when a man who is not our husband conquer us, he is using us for his gain and selfish desire. When I think of a husband conquering or overtaking his wife, I think of the scripture in Deuteronomy 28, verse 2, that states all the blessings of the Lord will come up on us if we listen to the voice of the Lord. In King James, it says to overtake us. So, if Joe is a dog, is a dusty, a F-boy, whose responsibility is it to figure out? I just want to know. Because see, y'all, some of y'all be hugging up on pit bulls, and then when they bite you, you want to cry. He's a pit bull, ma'am. Okay? He's a pit bull. Pit bull have to be trained. My sister said had a pit bull. I don't go to her house. I don't. And when she had anything, she would have to lock him up in the bedroom. So again, whose responsibility is it to figure out what type of man is in front of you? I have to go. I'm going to come back if I'm not too tired. And I'm going to talk through that VERNEISHA interview, okay? I'm going to probably do 2 or 3 parts because I'm exhausted and I'm ready to go lay down. Dinner's already made, y'all. It's Monday, Dinner was made yesterday. All right, pick this up. If y'all don't have this book, y'all need to pick this up, okay? Learn how to play chess, not checkers, okay? All right. I love you. Remember, show me love on Etsy. Run over to my Etsy store, pick up, take the cookie off the table. Okay. Show me love. This is how you show me love. As much content as I turn out for you guys and as many comments I get, I'm not seeing the love in my stores. Okay. Run over to Etsy, pick that up. Pick that up. It's on Etsy. Husband is a choice, so choose wisely. Okay, babes. I love you. Bye.